what was the message last?
Well, there's the Saskatchewan Center and a little preview of what's to come here in Rush Hour Live, getting a good look at the Rush and the Vancouver Warriors on Co-op Field as we welcome you into the Rush Hour Live. The pregame show is on the air. Rush and the Warriors tonight. I'm Darren DuPont. He's Cody Jansen. Sabine Ahmad will be with us down at field level, and we got a jam-packed show ready for you tonight, getting ready for a great crowd tonight, big atmosphere, because the room for error for the Rush is down to 0, and their playoff lives are hanging in the balance here down the stretch, Cody. This is make or break time for the team.
Well, you got to win out here. We all know that already, but just the battle between these two teams is what I'm looking forward to. They've split the season series so far, and the last time Vancouver was here, it was 763 days ago. I remember that one well. It was right before the COVID shutdown. Rush wins 17-7. It was an awesome game, so I'm looking forward to it again. And again, the atmosphere is going to be awesome as it's been all season here.
Great memory on that one, by the way. That's awesome. Coming up on the show tonight, we're going to hear from Derek Keenan, Jimmy Quinlan, Jeff Cornwall, Jeff Shatler, and maybe some surprises in there as well. It's Truth and Reconciliation Night tonight here inside the Saskatchewan Center. We've got the wonderful Truth and Reconciliation t-shirt that we're going to be giving away to one of you tonight. So if you're watching on Facebook or in the YouTube chat, pay attention. There will be some opportunity for you to win the shirt coming up a little bit later on in the show here tonight. It's also the happy hours on now for our friends at Great Western and Original 16. $5 beers are on now. 50/50 is open at saskrush.ca. So much to get to. But the big news this week is the coaching change that was made by the Saskatchewan Rush. Derek Keenan removing Jeff McComb as the coach, and now it's Derek Keenan and Jimmy Quinlan appointed as associate head coaches. Were you surprised at this coming down this week?
I think everyone was a little surprised, but when you look at the season, something wasn't working. And I know the players are going to take a lot of accountability for this, but it comes down to the group as a whole, and Derek Keenan saw fit that, hey, you know what, we need a change behind the bench. And moving a guy like Jimmy, it's not a crazy move at all. Like, this is a guy who's been prepared for this role for a while, in my opinion. He's run the defense for 4 or 5 years. He's won 3 championships. And he's run the back gate, he's run the front gate, and it's time for him next season to take the head coaching role where he brings that energy, he brings that excitement. And where have we seen this team lacking so far this season? It's coming out of quarters slow. It's coming out of gates slow. And you can't have that. So you need someone bringing the energy, and I think Jimmy Quinlan's the guy for that. So he'll get 4 games this year to really get his feet set, and next year, he's got the reins.
Jimmy's the only player in the Rush franchise with his jersey retired. It's up in the rafters here in the Saskatchewan Center. I think it's right beside us, pretty close. And he was a former captain of the team. He has a lot of respect in that locker room.
One of the things, too, about Jimmy that not a lot of people know is just who he's been around in the lacrosse world. It's not just who he's coached and played with, but you think about the Kurt Malowskis, the Tracy Koluskis. You know, he has been around these people. Obviously, Derek would have coached him, too. Sanderson. Like, he's been around some huge names. Shout out Jake Elliott. He coached him in BC as well. But you know, Jimmy's been coached and he's played with some awesome lacrosse people. So making the transition to head coach, it just makes sense for him.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and I think we're excited for it. So let's hear from the new associate head coach, Jimmy Quinlan.
Hey, what was the message last night at practice and this morning at shoot-around?
Just play what's in front of us. It's pretty simple. I mean, we believe in our group. We've got, I think, an incredible group of people in that room, an incredible group of players, and it's really just, you know, one step at a time. We got to take care of Vancouver and, yeah, play what's in front of us. So, guys looked good. The energy was upbeat, and we're excited to get after it.
You talked about work ethic a couple of times. Is that something you think you go up a level here at the last 4 games?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, for me, work ethic is always everybody. And I think at times we've had 1 or 2 or 3 guys working. It's contagious. I'm a big energy guy, and I believe that work ethic actually creates energy. So that's the message. The message today on shoot-around was we've got to actually outwork the guy that we're playing against. And sometimes we think we are, but we're actually not. And so the Vancouver team's a very good team. They got a lot to play for, so we've got to be full value. And again, we're excited for the opportunity.
What's got to change on offense to get going after that Calgary game?
Well, I think it's just playing with a little bit more urgency and being a threat every time we catch the ball. At times we're a little bit perimeter and we're a little bit passive and maybe we're waiting for a play to develop. Go make a play. And so that's kind of, again, the message is to dictate both the pace and we want to control the game. So offensively, we got to move our feet. We got to get to the hard areas. And again, we got to be willing to beat the guy who's checking us. And I think our guys are ready.
How important is this season series here against Vancouver with, still potential playoff implications?
Yeah, again, for us, it's really just the one game. Obviously, those things will help us down the road, but again, it's just trying to get us moving in the right direction. And it all starts with Vancouver, and so again, we know we're going to have to be at our best, and we look forward to it.
Back eight, how do you slow down Keegan Ball?
We've got a plan. We've got a plan. We'll have some matchups for him. He's a tremendous player. He's actually rounded himself out into being a very versatile guy. So we'll have our hands full, but again, we've got a plan and we'll be ready for it. And the guys who will be over there are excited to be over there, and they're ready for the challenge.
Really exciting now for Jimmy Quinlan, the new associate head coach. And the plan now, him and Derek will be associate head coaches throughout the remainder of the year. Jimmy Quinlan will assume the head coaching duties next season, and Derek will go back upstairs to being the full-time general manager. But here's the impetus for the coaching change as we look at the season so far. You can't hide from the 4-10 record, Cody.
Well, and the big one that sticks out to me is 1-7 on the road, right? Not too many playoff teams are getting in with one road win this year. But 8 of those losses, they have been by 2 goals or less. They've got a minus goals, a differential so far this season that's come down to, a couple of those losses, like the one against Vancouver in Vancouver, where you let it slip away. 8 goals in the second quarter. You're not going to win too many games. I think back to the one in Albany after Christmas or, the New Year. Losses like that, they add up. And when you've been in such close games, and they haven't really blown out that many opponents, right? So you get Panther City once. That's their biggest win of the year. So far, it's been a close season. You've just been on the wrong end of these games.
Yeah, and there's the positive, right, to that is that they've been there. They're close. They're right there. They can play with everybody. That's why they're favored in these games a lot. But on the other side, talking to some of the Rush staff, too, and this coaching staff, your record is what you are, and they're reflecting of that. They're not hiding behind the 2-goal losses, right, and saying, well, we're really doing really well, right? They know the position they're in, and now they need to get to work here down the stretch if they want to have a chance to get into and make the playoffs. So away we go. Are we ready to go downstairs? Awesome. Well, Sabina Mott's the third member of our group, and she's downstairs with a member of the Rush.
That's right. I got Jeff Cornwall with me right now. Jeff, a lot of changes. We've heard coaching changes this week, and you guys have about 4 games left. Still chase for the championship playoff games. Where are you guys in terms of mentally as a team?
Honestly, our focus right now is take the opportunity that's ahead of us, right? I mean, we got 4 games to really prove ourselves to our fans, to ourselves, and to the new coaching staff we got. So really, we're just out here trying to have a little bit of fun, make the most of what we got, and see what happens where the chips fall.
We've seen you guys play as a family. We've heard a lot of the players talk about you guys working as a brotherhood. And we see also, heading into the fourth quarter, there's always a little bit of a shift for you. What do you guys need to play differently heading into the fourth today?
Honestly, I think we start clenching our sticks a little bit tight. We start trying to, we move away from our game plan, stop relying on each other, and start focusing more on ourselves a little bit at times. And honestly, when we play like a team, we're running with the best of them. So if we continue to do that tonight and for the rest of the season, then who knows what kind of opportunities we'll have.
Last question for you. How do you guys communicate as that to make that change effective for you guys?
A big part of it, just in the dressing room and stuff, all throughout the week, we watch a lot of game film, we talk to each other, we celebrate each other's victories, and when there's critiques being made, we're the hardest on ourselves. So we're all looking to just improve, give ourselves a chance here and see what happens.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, good stuff, Sabine, with Jeff Cornwall down on the field level. Let's take a look at some of the Facebook comments. Nathan's watching and says, win this one for Jimmy. They want to also know, and Robin, yes, we will be streaming the game live here over Facebook, so stay tuned. Cody, myself, Sabine will have the call for you. Cody will be on the play-by-play, so that's exciting. Tonight, coming up here on Facebook, remember it's an 8 p.m. start tonight. Diane says, go, Rush, go. Carter, let's go, Rush. So viewers up, if you could go down, hit share, and tell all your friends the Rush Hour Live. Let's get excited here because the Rush are going to expecting a big crowd. We just talked to some of the staff here. They're expecting a big crowd tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun here in the building, and they're going to need that home support. There they are, warming up down on the field.
I love when they wear those green jerseys, Darren. Come on, like that's unreal.
Isn't
They're
it?
just the best in the league. Like nothing holds a candle to that. So sorry to get sidetracked.
No, the logo pops. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Go ahead.
I'm definitely all in on that one. But when you look at Vancouver, and I guess I'm interested in your, thoughts on this. It's such a big season series. Like these two teams, they're not exactly rivals, but there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of crossover. You think about Eric Penny, who's getting his first game against the Vancouver Warriors. You think about Matt Beers, who's going to play against his old team again. And the season series been so close. This one's going to be a battle.
Well, it really is. You go back, first game here, but, Saskatchewan had the win, and then that tough one in the second one. What do you remember about these games? Obviously way back in December, February, a little bit more fresh.
Yeah, the one in December in Vancouver, Mike Messenger had 2 goals and an assist there. That was huge. He came through clutch late, able to beat Bouquet late in the fourth quarter. Then that second loss, it's that second quarter that got away from him. You allow 8 games, and that's when the change happened. That was a game where Schutt and Dubinsky, they really weren't up to par, but neither was the rest of the team. So they let it down as a group. Things obviously had to change. One of the interesting points I've noted down here was the offense and the big 3. Your Keenan, your Matthews, your Church. Through 3 games, Keenan's got 7 points. Matthews, Church both have 6 through 2 games against Vancouver. The rest of the offense combined only has 7 points total. So everyone's got to pull their weight a little bit more here, to put that modestly.
They absolutely do. Rush are chasing down others in the playoff race here. They need to be perfect down the stretch, and as they get set to take on Vancouver tonight, let's take a look at the betting odds. The line here has Saskatchewan favored, but what stands out to you?
Well, the over-under, right? So you think back, we had a game a couple of weeks ago with 14 goals, and the one before that only had 15. So 23 goals. I don't know where they're coming from, but again, I want to see goals. I don't want to call another 8-6 game. I want this to be high scoring. The spread is the spread. It's Saskatchewan's favorite. You're going to give them 1.5, but the money line just shows, the odds makers, the bookies, they're still confident in Saskatchewan's roster. They know damn well what Saskatchewan has in their lineup and what they can do on any nightly basis.
Absolutely. How about this one from Mike in the Facebook group? He said he just discovered lacrosse today. He's a lifelong Rider fan and thought he would become a Rush fan. So, Mike, welcome.
Green's the color. Lacrosse is the game here.
Welcome aboard, to Rush Nation. That's awesome. And Carter says, let's go Rush. So away we go. Drop your comments in. You have a chance to win that Truth and Reconciliation t-shirt we're going to give away in a little bit. But it was 2 weeks ago since we were here. Really tough game, a very important game against Calgary. And here's how it went in the Rush replay.
Church on his left. Couple give and goes. Chatler's out of the corner now. Church down the pipe, and he scores! Matthews now on the half wall. Towards the middle, a little bit of room. Fires far side, scores! The encore, Mark Matthews after the power play. Switches it up on Christian Del Bianco. Up next, no Powless. Mallory for Saskatchewan. Pace now out in front. Taylor scores! The former Rush, Dan Taylor, has the Roughnecks first of the night, and it's 2-1. On your screen. Doing well in the faceoff so far. Calgary's power play goes to work. Pace, left side, scores. We're tied at 2 as Tyler Pace has his 15th of the season. Finds the chest protector. Mark Matthews now. Down the highway, and he scores! Mark the mailman Matthews, where Greba keeps the good stuff, and it's 3-2 Rush. Had a hat trick and 3 assists the last time these two teams met. Nixon up top. Over to King. Walks in, scores. We're tied at 3. Cook swings it over for Curtis Dixon. Superman around his defender, and he scores. Curtis Dixon gives Calgary their first lead of the game. One arm on his stick. Got it away low and out in front. Hayden Dixon opportunity. Dunk attempt, and they score! Superman flies through the crease from behind the net, and Calgary leads by 2. Backdoor opportunity, trying to hit Hayden Dixon there. Pace comes down to 5 to shoot. Intended for Taylor. Hayden Dixon's got the rebound, and he scores! Seconds to play in the third frame. Curtis Dixon now takes a hit and King scores. Curtis Dixon now, little backswing move, King pace, good ball movement, they score. Tyler Pace out in front has his second of the night for Ryan Keenan. Matthews has the ISO on Salama if he wants. Matthews throws Salama to the ground, out in front, and he scores! Pound your chest, Saskatchewan. Mark Matthews. Control.
Yeah, this will be a big power play here for Saskatchewan.
Littner and Church on the left-hand side. Matthews scores! Try run here. You got to assume they're going to go with the power play. Run something, not going to wait it out. Littner down low, out in front, dive, scores! Dan Littner, show your passport. He takes air, beats Del Bianco, and the lead is down to 2.
Tough one for the Rush a couple of weeks ago. The 8-6 loss to Calgary, really putting a dent in their playoff hopes, especially in that season series. Talk about tiebreakers and things like that, but there was some controversy on social media, Cody, around that score. You saw they scored, but didn't change the actual game score from 8-6 to 8-7. But there's no conspiracy.
No, we can pump the brakes on that one. It was just a score clock. There was a little malfunction there. So it wasn't an 8-7 game. It was 8-6. I love that goal by the Littner at the end. That's the creativity I want to see the Rush offense have more of tonight. Because when they're creative, that's when they're starting to generate these chances. When they get settled in too much, these outside shots, that's when they're making life easy for goaltenders.
Absolutely. Let's get to some more fan participation. Paul Druin's in the chat. He wants to know where you're watching from, so that's great. Fire in where you're maybe watching the show from today or getting set for the game. Maybe you're, down there in Section 15, or you're on your way to the game, or maybe you're sitting at home out of town. Let us know where you're watching from tonight, and stay tuned. Give you a chance to win some cool prizes coming up here in a little bit. As we look towards, this next stretch, where's the mindset? You've been around this team, more than just about anybody, through the shoot-arounds, through their travel, all the rest. What's the mindset of this group right now with kind of this mountain in front of them?
It's a 1 week at a time thing, right? You really have to take it one step at a time. But I love the energy around the team this week. Like, obviously, it's tough on guys to see Jeff go. They've played for him. They've won championships with him. That sucks. That's getting kicked in the shins for sure. But there's also an extra energy in life. And Jimmy brings that. Everyone who knows Jimmy knows he's a great speaker. He's a teacher. So when he talks, everyone listens. And the energy around the team, there was some optimism. There was that I haven't seen in previous weeks, where they really had that extra juice going for them. And I love to see that at a practice and shoot around this morning. Yeah,
team fired up. They're ready to go tonight. The opponent is the Vancouver Warriors. We are counting down to an 8 p.m. opening face-off, the Rush and the Warriors, and our pregame show well underway. So too is the happy hour. We're back with more after this.
This message is for Hockey Canada and to the International Hockey Federation. Regina and Saskatoon are a great place to host because we proceed forward with collaboration, a readiness from our tourism industry as well as our cities, financially, with volunteers, and with incredible facilities that we can meet all the needs necessary for the World Juniors.
Hockey is in our blood in Saskatchewan. I was there in 2010 for the gold medal game at SaskTel Centre, and our city and our province were electric. We have an incredible team that has pulled together to make this bid happen in short notice, and we know we're ready to host the world. And there is a hunger to get back together and celebrate. Saskatoon is committed in every way to host an absolutely amazing World Juniors tournament.
We are committed financially here in our city and in our province. Our cities are more than ready to host. We are at the heart of hockey in Canada and the world. We have more professional hockey players per capita than anywhere else. We look forward to welcoming hockey players from around the world to our cities and our province. Hockey Canada, we got this.
Sask Lacrosse welcomes boys and girls of all ages to try lacrosse. Looking for a new sport this summer? Lacrosse is the answer. Fun, exciting, action-packed. The game of lacrosse provides an environment for personal and athletic development that brings players back year after year. Join the lacrosse family by visiting sasklacrosse.net/content/associations to find a club near you. Make this summer count. Make this summer lacrosse.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year.
Well, warm-ups well underway here. There's the Rush on the left of your screen. The Vancouver Warriors there on the right side of your screen getting set for the big game tonight. We jump into the Facebook chat, find out where you're watching from. Michelle's watching in Warman. Yeah, that's not too far away.
That's my hometown. That's where I grew up.
There you go. So big support from Cody on that one. Hope you're enjoying the game and the show tonight. Mike is in St. Louis, Missouri. So hello, Mike. And how do you become a Rider fan in St. Louis? Are you originally from here? Are you a transplant? And do you have any other friends down there that you're going to convert to Rush fans in St. Louis?
Imagine a lacrosse team in St. Louis, the NLL. Yeah, let's get that one by.
We get some more Rush fans in St. Louis. It might be home for a neutral site game for the Rush one day. That could be kind of cool. So we'll welcome your comments in on Facebook and YouTube Live as we stream here tonight and get you set for the game. We're also going to give you a chance on Truth and Reconciliation Night. But right now, we're going to go down to the field again and join Sabine, who's joined with Jeff Schattler.
That's right. I got Jeff Schattler here with me, Jeff. We've heard the change, a coaching change. Obviously, we have Quinlan in the associate head coach, of course, sharing that role with Derek Keenan. How has that change affected the team in terms of mentality and emotionally?
Well, I think as a group, from the top down, we have confidence in the two that are obviously Derek, very experienced, brings a lot of experience to the team, and it's good to have him back on the bench. As for Bubs, I think he was a great coach, and things needed to change. And I think he's, I think it was on all of us for what happened. So I think Bubs is going to have a bright future still in this game. I was sad to see him leave, but obviously I see management side of things, and something had to change. So we're looking ahead, and one game at a time. So I think we're going to have a good night tonight for our new coach, Jimmy, and I think we're going to have some fun out there.
Chris Corbeil said earlier this week on a podcast, OTCB, saying that the players felt that they had kind of let Bubs down as well. Talk to me a little bit about that. How are the players feeling?
We could have executed a bit more on offense, and defensively, we never put a full 60 together for him, and it was unfortunate. I love the guy, and I think he's a great coach, and I think he deserved more, but unfortunately, someone has to take the brunt of it, and Bubs was that guy, and I miss him, and I wish him all the best, him and his family, and I can't wait to catch up in the near future.
And last question for you. How are you guys tonight? You got 4 games left, still a chance for the playoffs. Where are you guys?
Enjoying the moment. We can only control what we can control. That's what the motto is, and we have to go out there and have some fun. That's it. We have 4 games left to prove to ourselves and our team that we could still play with the best of them, and that's what we're going to do here tonight.
All right, thanks so much, Jeff. Good luck.
All right, good stuff from Jeff Schattler there. What do you take away, especially when you talk about Jeff McComb?
Well, yeah, the Jeff McComb thing, definitely. Mentioning that he's got a bright future in the league. This ain't the end of the road for Jeff McComb.
That's right.
You're kidding yourself if you think he ain't getting another job. There's teams blowing up his phone right now. I think you can bet the farm on that one. It's interesting where they say, hey, a change was needed, obviously, and management felt that way. Well, it was clear they needed to do something. But he also mentions we got to prove it to ourselves in these last 4 games. And that's not something you usually hear veterans with how many rings talk about. You got to prove it to yourselves that you can still compete at the NLL level. And that's the thing. Guys are getting older. There's some good young players in this league. And Saskatchewan has to prove to themselves and to the fans that this group can still win ball games.
What does it take? You've been around this, a lot, but what does it take to go from saying that week after week, that 1 week at a time we're doing, to actually transferring that to getting on the field and actually getting those wins?
Anyone who's been a part of a team, and you mentioned that, it's awesome because you know, I've been a part of closed door meetings where it is kick the coaches out, it's players only, and you are getting an earful. Everyone's speaking their mind, and sometimes that's what you need. It's, hey, the coaches ain't going to help us. The managers ain't going to help us. It's in this dressing room. There was no changes made, and that's why it happens. But speaking of the managers, I got a chance to catch up with Derek Keenan this week, and oh, man, it was a tough conversation. It's one of the hardest decisions he's had to make in 30 years. Have a listen to this.
How tough was it personally for you to separate your personal and business relationship with a coach who you've worked with for so long? You've won 3 NLL championships with.
I mean, the hardest part, without a question, without a doubt. I mean, you know, we've been great colleagues. We're friends. We've had a lot of good times together. We've had a lot of laughs together. We've had a lot of success. You know, if you look at, you know, aside from this year, you know, if you look at the 8 years, there's nobody really with close to the record that we've had. So that makes it really hard. And, you know, like I said, and it's not Jeff. Like, it's, you know, he's a good coach, and he did all the work that he needed to do. It just, for whatever reason, the message wasn't getting through to the guys, and we weren't executing, you know, what the game plans were to a degree that we should have won more of those 1 and 2 goal games, and that's why the decision was made.
Derek Keenan from the Rush Hour podcast. You can get that wherever you get your podcasts, presented by Original 16. Jam-packed episode, too, this week, and lots to discuss. How was, Derek, the rest of the
It was good. There were some awesome stories in there, too, and we caught Ryan on as well. So Ryan had a great story. We don't have the clip, so we can't roll it. But, yeah, there might have been a summer where Derek was fishing in a canoe, might have tipped it, might have lost 8 fishing rods, plus some extras, a tackle box. And there's some great stories on it. Definitely go give it a listen. You get the insight there. We also had Jimmy on for an in-depth talk about, you know, his transition from player to assistant coach to head coach. So there's a lot of awesome content in there, too.
They're in the Facebook chat here, and the Rush are actually jumped in themselves and want to know who you think will score the first goal tonight. So jump in. Let us know who you think will score the first Rush goal in the game tonight. We'll give you our predictions coming up in a little bit. But we've talked about what the Rush need to do here down the stretch. They need to win some games. This is what's ahead for the Rush as we take a look at the schedule and the remaining 4 games. Cody.
Well, you got Vancouver tonight, right? You don't want to look too far ahead, but obviously we have to here. And Colorado and San Diego, they are playing tonight for first in the West. Colorado's got a chance to overtake them because San Diego's been playing terrible these past few games. They've been losing games they shouldn't lose, and so now Colorado has a chance, and you can't overlook them. They've got Dylan Ward. He plays fantastic against the Rush every single time. San Diego, it's a winnable game. Everyone's beatable in the West, and then you've got Panther City to close out, which you hope is that game that could get you into playoffs, because you still need things to go right. You still need a lot of Calgary losses, but eventually, if you win 3 in a row here, that 4th game, that could be a scenario where you win here in the playoffs, right? Like, it's crazy to think, but the NLL, expect the unexpected. That's how the whole season's been.
And going to, you know, putting 4 in a row together is not that big of a stretch for this group.
Yeah, we're not saying you got to win 8 in a row and 7 of them have to be on the road, because certainly they ain't winning 7 on the road the way they've been playing this season. But again, 4 in a row for this group. Get hot at the right time. You got to get good goaltending. You're going to need Eric Penny to probably steal you 1 or 2 here. And that's my thoughts, especially when you're facing goaltenders like Alex Bouquet. You're taking, you get Dylan Ward, Frank Chiliano, Nick Damoud. You got some good goalies. Eric Penny's going to have to be a difference maker.
Well, they're piling in tonight for the Rush and the Warriors, and let's go down and join Sabine once again. How are things down at the floor level?
I slightly feel like I should have worn body armor today. I'm doing okay. I think, the crowd's already starting to come in. I saw them coming in through the concourse as well. Wanuskewin is set up as well for the Truth and Reconciliation game tonight. And you can just sense a little bit of ease in the team. Usually coming out here and watching them warm up, they're a little bit more tense and ready to go. And all of a sudden there's a bit of ease. And I think it's almost like they're comfortable and ready to go tonight.
You are way too calm down there right now with all those balls flying
I literally
around.
just felt one hit my foot.
I was going to ask you, have you ever been hit with one down there?
Yes.
And are you okay?
I am okay. I'm not going to file any kind of OHS complaint.
Good. Like if I was down there, I'd have shifty eyes. My head would be on a swivel all day long. So that's pretty good. These are the Truth and Reconciliation shirts that Sabine was talking about. We're going to give this one away to one of you, so make sure you're paying attention in the chat tonight. Coming up a little bit before 7:30, we'll give you a chance to win that. The game's going to get started at 8 o'clock tonight. So
it's a late game tonight. Hope you get your coffee. That's for sure.
Exactly. Get your Tims ready. Get it filled up because going to be a late one tonight. But on the other side is the Vancouver Warriors and Keegan Ball. He's top 10 in NLL scoring, and he's the subject of tonight's Visitor Viewpoint.
Hey, you're having a career year so far. What's going right for you?
I think just, getting in a groove early in the year was important, but overall it's just the team offense, the way we run, and everyone's contributing this year.
Without Jones this season, how's that changed your offense?
I think other guys have just had to step up, on both sides of the ball, on the right side and on the left side. It just provides opportunity, and we have a next man up mentality, and that's kind of how we've rolled.
Making a playoff push here, obviously, as the rest of the West is. What's it like being in this battle with it all so close?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's a little bit nerve-wracking at times, but I think we control our own destiny if we win out, and every game is just super important at this point.
First visit to the Saskatchewan Center this year. What's it like coming into an atmosphere like this?
It's always a good time in Saskatchewan. There's usually a good crowd, and now without the COVID restrictions, I expect it to be bumping in here.
Season series has been split so far. What's going to make the difference tonight for you guys?
I think overall, just who wants it more. We're both talented teams. We can both put the ball in the net. We both have good defenses, so it's going to come down to whoever wants it more.
Based on Eric Penny again, what's it like playing against PennDog?
It'll be interesting. Played on his team for a long time and shot on him a lot at practice, and so hoping to get the ball past him a few times.
Well, we heard from Jimmy Quinlan earlier on in the show, and that was earlier today, but that was before he got to the ring. He's here now, and he's down on field level talking with Sabine.
The excitement. I have associate head coach Jimmy Quinlan with me. How are you feeling? It's your first game as the associate head coach. Any kind of first day jitters?
Yeah, I'll be honest, there was. I had to fill out some lineups and stuff, and the nerves come back. Kind of reminds me of when I played, but it's excited energy really for me. So the guys have looked good the last night in practice, and then this morning in shoot around. So we're just excited to get going here.
So you talked earlier this morning as well about playing with a sense of urgency with these last 4 games. Can you talk about what kind of message that you've given the team?
Yeah, the message is just kind of like, again, we've always believed in that group in that room, and for some reason we haven't reached our potential. So again, it's about what we do. So there's a number of things that we've kind of outlined for this weekend here that we want to do, and again, that's just what we're going to preach. We're going to preach that we stick to the process, we play what's in front of us, shift by shift, and we just grind away at this thing. And that's how this organization found success, and that's how we're going to get it back.
So you talked earlier this week with Cody on the Rush Hour about different coaches who have played kind of a role in your life. Is there some kind of coach or a certain coach in particular that you want to emulate, or have you looked at and said, that's how I want to coach?
I want to be me. Real funny, like if it doesn't work, I want to be able to say that I was true to myself. That's how I played the game. I think, again, for me, it's just being me, communicating with the guys, being honest, patting them on the back when they've done well, giving them constructive feedback when we can be better, and then, again, bringing the energy. I'm a high-energy guy. I love the game. It's given me a lot, and so to answer your question, I'm going to steal something from everybody, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be me.
Love it. Thanks so much. Good luck.
He's stealing something from everyone. Sabine, can you ask him if he's stealing his look from Brian Burke with the tie, open like that? And
I thought that was great. I thought that was an awesome look.
Wasn't that pretty good?
But also, like, he calls himself high energy. I think that's an understatement. Like, he is extra high energy, and he's a vocal leader. That's why the move to, promote him an associate head coach this year. He's going to be the head coach next year. And you know what? I think they'll find someone on offense to replace his role. I mean, the job that Jeremy Televi's done on the back gate has been awesome, right? Yeah. When we look at the defense this year, that hasn't been an issue. Maybe one game, and it's against Vancouver, where defense has actually been an issue. They've been awesome. I've liked what Televi's done with that squad. He's really locked it down, and it's tough to run with that many superstars and get them all to play one system, row the boat in one direction. The defense has done that this year.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun watching to see where this goes. I know we're big fans of Jimmy, so wishing him all the best. First game, associate head coach with Derek Keenan on the bench tonight. We got more to come here, about 25 minutes left in the program. Rush still warming up, getting set for the big game with Vancouver coming up here at 8 o'clock. More on the Rush Hour Live here from the SaskTel Center.
This message is for Hockey Canada and to the International Hockey Federation. Regina and Saskatoon are a great place to host because we proceed forward with collaboration, a readiness from our tourism industry as well as our cities, financially, with volunteers, and with incredible facilities that we can meet all the needs necessary for the World Juniors.
Hockey is in our blood in Saskatchewan. I was there in 2010 for the gold medal game at SaskTel Center, and our city and our province were electric. We have an incredible team that has pulled together to make this bid happen in short notice, and we know we're ready to host the world. And there is a hunger to get back together and celebrate. Saskatoon is committed in every way to host an absolutely amazing World Juniors tournament.
We are committed financially here in our city and in our province. Our cities are more than ready to host. We are at the heart of hockey in Canada and the world. We have more professional hockey players per capita than anywhere else. We look forward to welcoming hockey players from around the world to our cities and our province. Hockey Canada, we got this.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year.
So I guess a long time ago, our creator, he gave us the medicine game as a form of enjoyment for him to watch. And so we used the medicine game for enjoyment, and as well as if someone got sick back in the day, you know, it's they could watch the game while people play, like all the men with the wooden sticks, and they'd feel better and stuff like that. But they would also use it just for like land disputes between the nations. Instead of going to war, they'd have a big game of lacrosse, have set up 2 poles, and you know, one net down here, go down a couple kilometers or 10 kilometers or so, another net. And it wasn't like a game of lacrosse here, like how we play in the arena. It was more of a, you didn't have like a time limit. Some of the games would last for about, you know, 5 days or so, and whoever won the game, you know, got to claim that piece of land. And it was just a good way of, instead of going to war with each other, you know, just to have a peaceful game of lacrosse. And that's about how the game came to be for our people. I think that evolved in time. Back in the day, we never really used the equipment. It was just, you know, like the men just had, you know, their leather buckskin on, and the sticks were just made out of hickory because it was the easiest to steam and the bend with it still being a tough piece of wood.
There's a beautiful look at the Rush warming up, and Cody's favorite, those beautiful green jerseys with the Rush logo that just pops right on the front. Rush getting set to take on the Vancouver Warriors tonight as we welcome you back upstairs to our set. Darren DuPont, Cody Jansen, Sabine Ahmad is down on the at the floor level between the benches, bringing you all kinds of great updates and connecting with the Rush players. But it's the Rush and the Warriors tonight. Saskatchewan needing to put some wins on the board to get back into a playoff race. 2 wins back of what would be a tie for third. They need to kind of win out here down the stretch, and it starts tonight with this game against Vancouver, Cody. Rush, there's desperation. There's been desperation for a few weeks, but it really sets in again.
Yeah,
tonight.
we've said must win 74 times already this season. But it really, we've said from the start, 8 and 10 could get you a playoff spot, and that's really what it can. You need some things to go in your direction, but if you get into that tiebreaker scenario with a team like Vancouver or Panther City, and you have the season series on them, you've got a chance to get to the dance. And that's really what we've talked about, is if you get to the playoffs, it's anyone's game. San Diego's not unbeatable. Colorado, they're not unbeatable. Like, these are very winnable games. So far, the Rush have just let too many slip away.
Yeah, this is the story of their season, though, as you take a look at the 4-10 record. And as you pointed out off the top, one win on the road is not going to get you in the playoffs.
No, definitely not. But again, you've got a chance to finish your home record at, what, 6-3?
Yeah.
Trying to do quick math on the fly.
Very
here.
good.
Big math guy. I got my calculator out, not a big deal. So you can finish 6-3 at home, and again, 2-7 on the road. You've got a chance. You do need some help, but the goal differential hasn't really gone in their favor due to the fact they haven't been blowing out teams anymore. As we mentioned, the last time Vancouver was here, the Rush beat them 17-7. I mean, smack, walk on the doormat, you did it all to them. This year, they haven't really done that. They beat Panther City once handily, but you haven't had those, 5 big wins like they've had in the past. So goal differential, not going to help them when it comes to playoff tiebreakers, but you've got 4 more here. You got to win.
And the Rush made a coaching change earlier this week. Jeff McComb is out. Derek Keenan back behind the bench as associate head coach. Jimmy Quinlan getting promoted to associate head coach. So that's really exciting. What short-term effects do you think this will have on the team?
Everyone plays better under a new coach, right? You played sports. I played sports. I've seen coaches go mid-season, and you want to impress the new guy. And it's not exactly a new guy. It's an in-house promotion. But it's going to be your head coach next year. Guys are playing for contracts next year, right? Like when Jeff Shatler says we have to prove to ourselves and prove to the team, prove to the fans, there's guys who are UFAs. They need jobs next year. And so you don't want to pack it in with 4 games, especially when your new head coach is breathing down your neck.
And Jimmy will be promoted further in the offseason to being the full-time head coach next year as Derek resumes full-time general manager duties. But maybe, let's first start with the season series. As you look at the Rush and the Warriors, they played twice, once in December, once in February, splitting that. What did you take away from those 2 games?
Both were at Rogers Arena, right? It's never easy to win on the road. That's a tough place to win in. But that first game, the difference, Mark Matthews had a couple of clutch goals early. They did fall behind, but the offense, that was probably one of their best efforts for a full 60 minutes all season. The latter of that, probably their worst of the 60. That second quarter was terrible. They allowed 8 goals. It wasn't a good performance. End of the day, that's probably their worst game of the year. So you've got to bounce back. You've got that little extra itch to say, hey, we got to prove to Vancouver that we're the better team, and we're going to come out tonight firing. There's no reason for Saskatchewan not to play a full 60 tonight and fill the net behind Bouquet.
Well, they're at home, and they've got a new coach. Does this play in to the betting odds as we pull up, the look of tonight's game? It surely does when you look at the over-under. They think the offense is going to get corrected tonight, Cody.
So that's an interesting point with the whole betting odds and a coaching change, because we see it across sports. It doesn't matter, NHL, NBA, whatever it is, a coaching change, that team's usually buzzing after it. And I expect Saskatchewan to be doing the same, right? They're going to come out. They're going to say, hey, we got to prove something. And again, you want the crowd engaged. It's going to be a good crowd tonight. Rush Nation always shows up. You got 3 more home games, playoffs. Until you're mathematically eliminated, you better be going forward.
Absolutely. Dave, do we want to go to last night or 2 weeks ago? Awesome. Yes, let's take a look at a game that matters to the Rush last night. It was a big one. Calgary and Halifax is Saskatchewan trying to chase down the Roughnecks. Here's what happened in the NLL last night.
King with 10 on the shot clock. King takes a chop there from Tarasenko, trying to find any room. King, shot, scores! And now he's got King off the bench. King, shot, scores! Wonderful transition by the Roughnecks. They have their first lead of the game.
Beating every time, and it's actually been a guy we can probably talk about later tonight, Scott Campbell, who might have been the best defender all season long for this team. Indeed, tucks one.
He's got a man streaking right down Main Street. In stride, scores! Simpson 5-hole! 14 assists on the season for Christian Del Bianco.
And it's usually at halftime where you see adjustments make and the teams really start to pour it on like the Roughnecks are doing here.
And there was a delayed penalty coming up, but Tanner Cook goes low to low. Now he's got a pair. Keogh passes without his reach. Tanner on the shot clock. Keogh drives. Step back shot. Over the top, and he scores. Sweep the turf. Keogh with his first of the night. What a lead, and what a save by Del Bianco. Tricky little look there now. Vito go low to low, and caught Del Bianco going the wrong way. King around the pick. Oh, he tried to find Dixon, who was cutting. Now one more all low. Dixon, oh my goodness! What is going on tonight?
So Calgary with the win last night. 4 other games going on around the NLL today. Cody, what stands out to you?
Well, I mean, the one game you're watching is Panther City Calgary, right? You
Yeah.
want Panther City to win. You need Panther City to win. You're focusing on that. San Diego, Colorado, that's a battle for first place in the West, right? There is a ton at stake in that game. Earlier today, though, New York, Jeff Teat led the way. They get past Buffalo again. Buffalo, another loss there. They just lost to Colorado as well because the West is better, right? We'll stick with that one. Hey, 15-12, New York gets past Buffalo. And going on right now, Rochester was up on Toronto, but Rock up 11-9 right now. Kind of bad news for the Nighthawks, right? You never want to see anyone get injured, and Rylan Hartley, after battling back from a head injury, takes warm-ups, upper body injuries out again. So you never want to see someone go down, and especially for Rochester, it's their goalie of the future out again.
Yeah, that's a really tough one for sure. But again, the Rush, as much as you're looking outside the scoreboard, they got to take care of business and just win some games down here as we're starting to see the atmosphere really pick up. They're expecting a lot of people in the building tonight. They're filling in right now as, getting ready. Last little 15 minutes of happy hour and those $5 original 16 still on the go. Chance to get your 50-50 tickets as well. And for those 50-50s supporting the Jumpstart programs, you can go to saskrush.ca to get yours. One more segment still to come where we've got a beautiful Truth and Reconciliation t-shirt. This guy right here, we're going to give this away. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, get ready. Do we want to drop the trivia question?
Yeah, we dropped the question before the commercial break, for sure.
So you go ahead, Cody.
Well, okay, it's a simple one. It's the new head coach. But when he played, when he had that long, beautiful flow, those old Rush jerseys that were black, white, and silver, what number did he wear? Give me Jimmy Quinlan's number when he played. It's up in the rafters here. That's a simple question for you, and you're going to win an awesome shirt for that. Also, we got more people in the chat talking about where they're watching from. There he is watching from Sherwood Park, loves Grammar Rush. Eric Ellis, God's Country. I think he's a Southwest Saskatchewan guy, Eric. Eric, let me know where you're at, because I think you're a Southwest Saskatchewan guy, and if you know where Wymark is, well, then that's pretty darn close to where I grew up as well, so little connection there.
Awesome stuff. Get your score predictions ready. Get those into the chat. Let us know what you think is going to be the final score tonight, and who's going to score the first Rush goal. Things that Sabine, Cody, and I will break down coming up here in just a few minutes. Okay, comments are coming in on Jimmy Quinlan's number. It is up in the rafters. So if you're in the building right now watching the pregame show, the Rush Hour Live, you can get a little cheat on that one. But we'll take a break here and come back with one more segment on the Rush Hour Live. The Rush and the Vancouver Warriors, as you get a look at our broadcast setup here, and we'll be back after this.
This message is for Hockey Canada and to the International Hockey Federation. Regina and Saskatoon are a great place to host because we proceed forward with collaboration, a readiness from our tourism industry as well as our cities, financially, with volunteers, and with incredible facilities that we can meet all the needs necessary for the World Juniors.
Hockey is in our blood in Saskatchewan. I was there in 2010 for the gold medal game at Saskatchewan Centre, and our city and our province were electric. We have an incredible team that has pulled together to make this bid happen in short notice, and we know we're ready to host the world. And there is a hunger to get back together and celebrate. Saskatoon is committed in every way to host an absolutely amazing World Juniors tournament.
We are committed financially here in our city and in our province. Our cities are more than ready to host. We are at the heart of hockey in Canada and the world. We have more professional hockey players per capita than anywhere else. We look forward to welcoming hockey players from around the world to our cities and our province. Hockey Canada, we got this.
Sask Lacrosse welcomes boys and girls of all ages to try lacrosse. Looking for a new sport this summer? Lacrosse is the answer. fun, exciting, action-packed. The game of lacrosse provides an environment for personal and athletic development that brings players back year after year. Join the lacrosse family by visiting sasklacrosse.net/content/associations to find a club near you. Make this summer count. Make this summer lacrosse.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year.
The atmosphere in here just took a step right up, and you can see the Vancouver Warriors are on the floor down on your right side, waiting on the Rush to come back out and get ready for the game tonight. We're expecting an opening face-off just after 8 o'clock. We'll have the call here on Facebook, and it will be the three of us, Cody, Sabine, and myself, as we welcome back up Sabine Ahmad. And how are things down at the floor?
It's like a party down there. I mean, it is all the time. Let's be real. I feel like I'm the lucky one that gets to see the crowd when I'm especially making my way up here. Great setup. You were talking about happy hour.
Yeah.
There's a number of Caesars lined up just down the stairs. If any of you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not
would
worried,
hate
but I'm
one of
just
those
saying.
right now.
I know, right? How was Jimmy? That was my biggest question. We talked to him. We heard from him twice, but how was he?
I asked him before we came on air. I was like, "How are you feeling?" Like thinking he was, and he's like, "Great."
Yeah, that's Jimmy.
Yeah, just great. I mean, earlier this morning we saw him too, and I think there's just a relax. I feel like there might be a difference when you're a player and you're, having that transition, that experience. So, yeah.
He's had so much success as an assistant coach as well.
Yeah.
He's run the back gate with the defense. He's run the O gate with the offense. He's won championships. Except for 1 year with Toronto. I mean, he spent his whole time with the Rush organization. So he knows it inside and out. I think he's just the perfect fit to become the next leader of this team.
Yeah, he is. He's got, he played with the team. He was a captain of the team. He's been an assistant through championship seasons. And as you said, Cody, a great point. He's been on the defensive side, the offensive side. He's now going to share the bench with Derek. And then just a natural progression. It's kind of what you want in a grooming process, right?
And even just talking with Jeff Schattler, you can just see there's just a sense that they're excited to play for him and see what they can do for him.
He has that respect.
Yes.
The ability to be your friend, but also if he needs to kind of tighten the leash a little bit, he can do that too, right, Cody?
He can talk to you. I don't know if you guys go on YouTube and look up his videos. He's got a couple of scraps on there. He was not afraid to throw
I see him
them.
just from the side.
I was going to say,
I know.
You see it during the game.
Oh, yeah.
And he is attack, right?
Yeah. And, I mean, I think the players are also receptive to that, right? That's that communication that we heard in the interviews as well. There's that communication piece that he's communicating and they're registering what he's saying.
No, for sure. So that's awesome. Our chat's going crazy here, Cody. I can't see everybody who's in it, but I want to give a few more hellos. I know we got a contest winner in here somewhere too.
Yeah, do we got the camera on the number? Can we get that?
I don't know if we were able to find it, but we have people suggesting Robert Church as a first goal.
Don't find it. Look up.
Mike, who's in St. Louis, says 16-12 Rush as a final score. Grandma Rush, I believe, is in the chat. Is that right? Is that what I'm seeing?
Number 81. Oh, that's the number Grandma Rush is wearing.
Grandma Rush is wearing, of course. Her favorite, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Everyone's favorite.
But Jimmy Quinlan, number 81. Somebody got it in here first. We'll have to scroll back up and see who it was. Or do you know?
Oh, no. I don't know. I was just going to say,
yeah,
it's a legendary number as you see the guys take the floor here. Penny was breaking in new gear. Looks like he's going back to the Philly stuff. I'm disappointed for one, but his new stuff looks awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Get a good look at Bobby Kidd III and Marshall Paulus, who you heard from in the commercial break. Matt Beers back there. This is a group that's a lot of fun to watch, and as you mentioned, Cody, the favorite green jerseys, those bright green jerseys. Those are hard to miss down there.
So much young talent, too. You look at some of these names, like I'm seeing Jordy Jones-Smith, Holden Garland, Marshall Paulus on the floor, Bobby Kidd III. Like, I get it. The season hasn't been perfect. Like, hey, I'll be the first to admit that. You're not happy with a 4-10 start, but the future's bright. Like, these kids are learning from some of the best to ever play in the National Lacrosse League. I mean, the future's still exciting in Saskatchewan.
It's almost like they hit a reset button.
Yeah, no, and they have to, and now you can do that from behind the bench to the group on the floor. Vancouver's coming off a loss last week. Saskatchewan's coming off a loss 2 weeks ago, so something's got to give tonight. You want to get to some predictions? Let's do it. Let's do score predictions first. So
okay, that's a switch up.
Let's go to the end of the table.
Okay, so you want me to go first here. And I don't think we're going to see that many goals. As you see Tyson roll there, all 6'10" of them. Hey, I'm going to predict 13-9 for the Rush. That's where I'll stick, 13-9.
Okay.
Okay. I was going to say 15-13 for the Rush.
Okay, so you're taking the over. Cody's taking the under by a goal, if my math is right. I think that's 22 goals.
Yeah, quick math.
And I'm not, well, I kind of think I want to go like 8-5, 8-4, and go something crazy. But you know what? Jimmy's going to get the offense going tonight. I think the Rush are going to put up 15 tonight. I'll say 15-11 as a final score tonight for the Rush.
It's a lot of goal lights going off.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, though. I will enjoy it. Anything's better than an 8-6 low-scoring game. No, I don't need playoff lacrosse yet. Give me goals.
Right, exactly. Well, those are, they're ready to go tonight. And I tell you, my first goal scorer is somewhere in that shot, actually. Just walked into the shot.
I'm seeing mine right now already.
Okay, you go first.
I'm sticking to Church. He's my favorite, and he hasn't let me down.
Bobby.
I love it. Cody?
Okay, well, I think the transition game's got to keep going here, and they got to step it up. They've had some success against Vancouver in the past, so I'm going with the captain, Chris Corbeil.
I like that, and I'm going with Ryan Keenan. I went with Dilts 2 weeks in a row. That didn't work out very well. Sorry, Ryan. I like you a lot. I really do. You're a hell of a player. But I need somebody who's going to score here, and it's going to be Ryan Keenan tonight, I think, for the first goal.
So, one of the interesting things when you talk about getting the first goal and stuff, and we talked about Christian Del Bianco and how he played against the Rush in their season series so far. Well, Alex Bouquet has done the exact same. He's played well under his goals against average, which is 8.5 against Saskatchewan. Regular season, it's over 11.5. Save percentage also up by .52. Like, those are massive numbers. He's got an 8.27 against the Rush. Goaltenders have been playing good against Saskatchewan, but at the end of the day, you can't make excuses anymore. You got to start putting some balls behind them.
Yeah, do you ever? So that's going to be interesting tonight. Sabine, what else are you noticing downstairs?
I mean, I said it before. There's just a sense of, like, almost a relaxed feeling with the team. So, I mean, it may be a switch up, but I think it's just, there's about 4 games left, right? So, almost do or die at this point.
Yeah, it really is. Hey, coming up in 2 weeks, Whale and the Wolf, as the Rush have another post-game party. Whale and the Wolf will be performing post-game in 2 weeks at the Rush home game on April the 23rd. So get your tickets for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. Also, the Rush Hour podcast, I want to plug that one more time, Cody, because it was a jam-packed episode, especially with the coaching change. What haven't we talked about that's on that podcast?
Oh, there's everything. There's some great stories with Ryan Keenan, though. A lot of talk about his, regular life away from the game, some funny minor stories. And, there's everything with Ryan Keenan as well. Plus, you can hear from Derek and Jimmy directly. Jake Elliott previews tonight's game, so that's going to be a little old, but also good to hear from Jumbo. We do got scratches for tonight's game, though. We'll go over those quickly. For Saskatchewan, Austin Murphy, Marshall Pallas, Clark Walter. They're not going to be dressed tonight. For Vancouver, you got Connor Goodwin, Ryan Martell, and Tyson Rowe. So the big man not going. Also, they're still without Mitch Jones, their top offensive weapon, and Tyrell Hamer-Jackson, their face-off guy. So Bouquet, Penny, that's the matchup I'm watching between the pipes. Eric Penny, Penn Dog, he gets to start against his former team for the first time.
And a big opportunity for Mike Messenger in the face-off circle. Should have a big night tonight, hopefully, for the Rush. Awesome. We are all ready to go for the Rush and the Vancouver Warriors. It's coming up in about 30 minutes, so stay tuned. Here on Facebook, the three of us will bring you the call and hope you enjoy this tonight wherever you might be watching from. Until then, thanks for watching the Rush Hour Live pregame show, and we'll see you for the opening face-off at 8 o'clock.